Hello everyone, welcome back to Poetry Surprises. Well, it's lunchtime, so I'm up in the kitchen today doing this little recording, and it's going to be on the third instalment of the sonnet. Now, what have we discovered so far about the sonnet? Well, it's 14 lines. It falls into two parts. It's like a kind of takeaway meal. You know what you're going to get, you know how long it's going to last, and it can have different flavors, different content. You can have a burger, or you can have a chicken burger, or you can have a fish burger, or something like that. But the format is basically the same. And we also looked at the fact that it takes around about a minute to perform. And that's quite important because, as we saw the other day, there are actually 5 beats per line, 14 lines, that's 70 beats to a sonnet, and 70 beats is the same number of heartbeats in a minute for the average human being. So there we are. We've got to a situation where we also have to add the flavouring. Now, the flavouring for a sonnet is often describing words. Describing words are a little bit on the dodgy side, if you like. You have to be very careful how you use them. If you start using too many describing words, the poem becomes flaccid and just loses any bite. If you use too few, it can become quite dull. So anyway, here I just had lunch. So look, here's a few of these sources. So you imagine that each one of these is a word. Here's H.P. Brown. I've got Tesco's sweet or sour cream topping. There we are. And there's more down here. There's tomato ketchup and mayonnaise and even a chili sauce. There we are. So how do you apply these in a poem? Well, with the 5 beat line, you've got a very, very convenient length because it kind of suits English language grammar. English language likes subject, verb, and object, and that often takes 4 beats to get through. The 5th beat you can add is flavouring, and it's that flavouring that gives certain lines their character. So let's look at that. Let's look at that 5 beat line, the second line of that Keats poem we were talking about the other day. Before my pen has gleaned my teeming brain. Okay? Subject, verb, object. My pen, verb, gleaned, brain, object. Source is teeming. That gives it a life and an energy. Take that beat out, that teeming beat out, and you see that before my pen has gleaned my brain, well, it's okay, but there's nothing particularly exciting about it. And if you add an extra one, it becomes a bit messy. Before my scratching pen has gleaned my teeming brain, you see, it's getting weak. 6 beat lines are not really suited to the English language. 4 beat lines are good, but they can often not offer that room for that wriggle room for description. So the 5 beat line's a great line to have as the staple of English poetry. Now, the 6 beat line is quite popular with the French. And we'll maybe look at the Alexandrine, as it's called, another time. And the 4 beat line, if ever you feel as if your poems are becoming a little bit, shall we say, sort of loose around the edges, there's a bit of padding, take a beat out and see if you can tighten it up. It often works wonders. So what I'm going to do now is read another couple of sonnets and introduce you to a little book of sonnets. And I'm going to do that back in the office because I finished my lunch. I'll put the sauces away before I go down there. I'll see you in a minute. Okay. Hi again. Well, I got back down into my little workroom down here, and I just thought I'd give you a quick introduction to a book. This book here, if anybody's interested in following up on the sonnet, the Penguin Book of the Sonnet is a nice little purchase because it covers 500 years of the sonnet in English. It's selected and edited by Phyllis Levine, and look it up on Amazon. It's still available. I just checked, so you can get it in paperback. This one's the hardback. I don't know. I must have got it from a sort of wandering around and sort of thought, oh blimey, I'll get that. But it's got a slightly sort of poncy plastic cover, so if you lose the cover you don't know the title of the book, which doesn't seem very intelligent to me, but there you go. Anyway, it starts off with the Elizabethans, goes through people like John Donne, brilliant sonneteer John Donne, goes right the way up to Seamus Heaney and the like, right to the present day. So well worth the investment if you're interested in the sonnet. Okay, so now I'm going to read you something from it. So I'd like to read you a poem from the book I've just been talking about, and this is by William Blake. Now, William Blake was another East Ender, another sort of Cockney, and once again I'm going to read it with a bit of an accent because I think it sort of gains a degree of naturalness that you lose if you start getting too plummy and too rich with it, even though the subject matter is the natural world, and you'd think, well, what's a Cockney geezer doing, writing about this kind of thing, but we do. To the evening star. Thou fair-haired angel of the evening, now, while the sun rests on the mountain, light thy bright torch of love, thy radiant crown put on, and smile upon our evening bed. Smile on our loves, and while thou drawest the blue curtains of the sky, scatter thy silver dew on every flower that shuts its sweet eyes in timely sleep. Let thy west wind sleep on the lake, speak silence with thy glimmering eyes, and wash the dusk with silver. Soon, full soon, dost thou withdraw. Then the wolf rages wide, and the lion glares through the dun forest. The fleece of our flocks are covered with thy sacred dew. Protect them with thine influence. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. I think it's a really, really nice sonnet, and quite surprising for sort of William Blake in some ways, although he gets his lion and his wolf in, but, it's a lovely piece of romantic writing. And it's got those adjectives we were talking about, those saucy words, like radiant in the third line. Anyway, I'm going to finish now with one of my own because that's kind of like the rules. And I thought I'd finish. Everybody's been saying, they need happy stuff because they're all in lockdown and everybody's anxious. So I thought I'd cut the misery and elegies and finish on a recipe. So this is a recipe for tzatziki. Now, lovely stuff. Slap it on bread, eat olives with it, whatever you want. But if you follow this sonnet, by the time you've finished, I'm sure you'll enjoy the food, even if you don't like the poetry. Okie dokie, right, see you soon. Bye. Tzatziki. First, peel garlic cloves, 2 large or 3 small. Pummel each crescent to a shining pulp and scrape this pithy cream into a bowl. Make sure the texture's juicy, white, yet crisp. Grind peppercorns to powder, fine as dust, and sprinkle sneezy clouds into rich oil. Then add the garlic, stirring to a paste with vinegar till bright as emeralds. Skin cucumber and dice to glistening cubes. Then fold in yogurt strained through muslin sacks. Allow to meld. Leave the sauce to cool. Divide and serve on decorated plates. The Queen of Greece that rules all other dishes, as warm as love, as sharp as winter kisses.